So when I'm writing this script, it's been like 2 weeks since the Monarch's Journey for Arwa came out, and there isn't a new set of challenges yet. So just like I said I'd do, it's time to dive into the backlog of hairy men in the Monarch's Journeys leading up to the first video I made on Louis the Stammerer. Starting with the very first Monarch's Journey character, Konan of Brittany. Usual rules apply, free DLC only, link to the Old Gods DLC for free in the video description, cosmetic mods don't affect unlocks, links to my mods also in the description, here's my rule set, Fox only, final destination. Konan's challenges are as follows. The first is time bending. Completely control as many of the counties on this list as possible to recreate the Kingdom of Breton. 10 counties for bronze, 12 for silver, 15 for gold, and you can get this as long as you're playing as Konan's dynasty. Second is gloves come off. In real life, Konan's dynasty lost control of Brittany because he died without having any legitimate sons. Change the course of history by having as many legitimate living sons alive as possible. 2 for bronze, 3 for silver, 5 for gold, and this can only be completed while playing as Konan. Finally, preemptive self-defense. Kill as many members of the de Normandie dynasty as possible. 3 for bronze, 5 for silver, and 7 for gold. Killing William the Conqueror himself counts as 2 kills, and this challenge can be completed as long as you're playing Konan's dynasty. As usual, our priority is the challenge that needs to be done in the first ruler's lifetime, and in Konan's case that means we need to start popping out some sons. You already start with one son, but he's a bastard so he doesn't count. You can legitimize him at any point for the cost of some piety, but I recommend doing that when you already have 4 legitimate sons to cap off the challenge, rather than right at the start. All 5 sons have to be alive at the same time, and for some reason having a legitimized bastard in the line of succession ahead of his half-brothers ends up leading to a dramatically shortened lifespan, so hold off on that. But even 4 children is a lot to ask of one woman, and that's assuming that every single child she has will be a boy. Konan has far too much love to give, so it only makes sense that he should spread that love as far and wide as possible. There are 2 ways of getting women into your court to seduce: inviting ones that already exist out in the world using the character finder, or using the decision to present a debutante to spawn one in. The first option has the benefit of being free, but the second one gives the women a hidden modifier that makes her 5 times more likely to give you an event to make her your lover. The Way of Life DLC makes this challenge a lot easier with the ability to target seduce individuals, but without that DLC, all you can do is stack your court with lustful women and let the beautiful process of cheating on your wife happen naturally. Also keep in mind that having 30 or more people in your court drastically decreases the fertility of your courtiers, as the game's way of preventing insane overpopulation. So whichever of the 2 methods you use, make sure that the size of your harem stays within reasonable limits. Wait until you have at least 5 boys in your row of kids, and legitimize the bastards of your choice to complete the gloves come off challenge. And remember, if you get unlucky on a playthrough and just can't have 4 boys before Konan dies, finish up the other 2 challenges on your first playthrough and keep restarting until you win the pregnancy coin flip on another save. Keep in mind that legitimizing boys willy-nilly might throw your inheritance out of whack. Konan starts in the position of having already ruled for 10 years before the start of the challenge, meaning that as long as none of your vassals are mad at you, you can immediately change your succession law from gavelkind to tanistry. Tanistry is a succession law unique to the Celtic cultures, and is probably one of the best in the game, because it's an elective system that can only elect someone from the current ruler's dynasty. A bad election might put a crappy ruler in charge, but at least you won't lose control of your realm. Now that the mistresses are sorted out, let's talk wives. For the time-bending challenge, you need to take a bunch of land from France, which is stronger than you, and England, which is much stronger than you, and England will often be taken by Norway, which is the strongest of all. So you need a strong neighboring ally, and there's no one better than Holy Roman Emperor Heinrich IV. He's 16, and an alliance with him will hopefully last for a long time, and as it so happens, he has 2 sisters who are both single and ready to mingle. Unfortunately, they're both celibate, but you've got a beloved bastard brother you can marry to her instead to secure that alliance. For Konan's own marriage, you can marry the daughter or sister of another powerful ruler nearby to get another ally, or if you want my personal recommendation, you can instead look into the claimants of the Kingdom of England and marry one of the young ladies of the of Wessex dynasty, who have strong claims on England that they will pass down to their children. That might be a good thing to have in your dynasty. The last couple of things you should do before unpausing are to invite men, one with the highest diplomacy possible and one with the highest intrigue possible, and make them your chancellor and spy master, because you've got a lot of fabrication and murder ahead of you. Finally, hop into William de Normandie's family tree and invite the following members of his dynasty to your court: the husband of Adelaide, Alice, Robert, Hugh, and Lithways. Unpause and let your invited folks stream in. Get your Chancellor fabricating on Anjou, your Spymaster increasing plot power in your own capital, and take the de Normandies who have come into your court and marry them to men in your court so they produce more de Normandies. Marry de Normandy men in normal marriages, and women in matrilineal marriages. When a de Normandy child is born, or a de Normandy woman turns 46 and becomes infertile, plot to kill them. With the 5 you invited, plus any offspring they have, you can easily stomp out all 7 lives you need for the Pre-Emptive Self-Defense Challenge without even needing to go outside of your own court. While you're waiting for all this sex and violence to happen, your attention should be focused on the 3-way fight over England, because while you're way too weak to get directly involved in it, the result of the war will greatly affect your progress in the time-bending challenge. This challenge has 15 counties that you need to completely control. You start with 9 of them, 2 are in England, and the last 4 are in France. If William de Normandy wins England like he did in real life, France will be significantly weakened due to all of William's land becoming part of England. This makes it easier for you to take Anjou once your Chancellor fabricates a claim, but all the rest of the land you need for time-bending will be under the control of William, who will have a ton of soldiers and a base of extremely loyal vassals, due to him handing out a bunch of land to his family members. His forces will probably be weakest right after finishing his conquest war, so if you trust the strength and intelligence of your AI allies, declare a war for Conan's strong claim on the Duchy of Normandy. If you married Conan to one of the Wessex women, I would instead recommend biding your time and waiting for her strong claim to pass down to a son, preferably to the one that you're playing as. Being able to take the entire Kingdom of England at once will give you Devon, Cornwall, Maine, Mortain, and Caen, leaving only Anjou outside of your domain, assuming William didn't somehow lose those counties in the meantime. If Harold Hardrada takes England, you'll have to deal with an intimidating Norway, but the AI will struggle to manage 2 huge chunks of land separated by so much ocean. While waiting for Norway to splinter and weaken, get your allies together, steal William's duchy from France to spit in his eye even more, then fabricate and take Anjou at your earliest convenience as a dessert. With that expanded power base in France, you're in a great position to wait for the first opportunity for Norway's troop count to dip down to a level where you can take England, or at least take the 2 counties there on the tip that you need. If Harold Godwinson holds on to England, just kidding, that won't happen. But if it does, your approach doesn't change, your opponent is just a lot weaker. And that should do it for the major hurdles in this challenge. A lot of the worst case scenarios that can happen will happen within the first couple of years if you get invaded by realms that are a lot bigger than yours. An HRE alliance helps a lot with this, as does taking direct control over the lands you start with by imprisoning, revoking, and plotting against your vassals to expand your own domain. I hope this guide helped you complete the Monarch's journey. Feel free to leave a like if it did, and comment anything interesting that happened to you on this journey, or strategies you came up with that I missed. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.